What if your smartphone could read your mind, zoom to the moon, and never run out of juice? Sounds like sci-fi, right? Well, buckle up because Samsung's rumored Galaxy S25 Ultra might just make these dreams a reality. Let's dive in. Now, first things first, let's talk about when we might actually get our hands on this beauty. While Samsung's keeping tight-lipped about the official release date, we can make some educated guesses based on their past launches. In recent years, Samsung's been creeping earlier and earlier with their Galaxy S releases. The S24 line dropped in mid-January 2024, which was their earliest launch yet. So what does this mean for the S25 Ultra? Well, we're thinking Samsung might stick to a similar time frame for 2025. Mid-January seems like a safe bet, but here's the thing. They probably won't want to clash with CES, the massive tech show that kicks off the year. So we might be looking at a Galaxy Unpacked event towards the end of January or early February 2025. Either way, it's not too far off, and we're already counting down the days. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the price. We all know premium phones don't come cheap, and the S25 Ultra is likely to be at the top of the range. The S24 Ultra started at $1299, which was a bump up from its predecessor. Will we see another price hike? It's possible, especially with rumors of a more powerful and potentially pricier processor. But hey, quality comes at a cost, right? And from what we're hearing, the S25 Ultra might just be worth every penny. Alright, let's talk looks. Samsung's been rocking a pretty consistent design for their Ultra models lately, but we might be in for some subtle yet significant changes with the S25 Ultra. Word on the street is that we could see a slightly curvier design, which would be a nice change from the more squared-off look of recent models. But don't worry, they're keeping it classy. The front is still expected to be nice and flat. One of the coolest rumors we've heard is that the S25 Ultra might be the thinnest Ultra device we've seen in years. We're talking about a possible thickness of just 8.4 millimeters. That's iPhone territory, folks. But here's the kicker. Even with this slimmer profile, the display might actually be wider. How's that for having your cake and eating it too? Speaking of the display, prepare to have your mind blown. The S24 Ultra already boasts a gorgeous 6.8-inch screen, but rumors suggest the S25 Ultra might push that to a whopping 6.9 inches. It's not a huge jump, but every fraction of an inch counts when you're talking about screen real estate. And let's not forget about brightness. Samsung's been playing the brightness game hard lately with the S24 Ultra hitting a retina-searing 2600 nits. Will the S25 Ultra crank it up even further? We wouldn't bet against it. But it's not just about size and brightness. Samsung's always been at the forefront of display technology, and we're expecting some serious innovations in the S25 Ultra. Think richer colors, better contrast, and maybe even some new features we haven't even thought of yet. One thing's for sure, whether you're streaming your favorite shows, editing photos, or just scrolling through social media, this display is going to make everything look absolutely stunning. Now, let's focus on what's arguably the star of the show, the camera setup. The Ultra models have always been photography powerhouses, and the S25 Ultra is shaping up to be no exception. We're hearing whispers of some pretty exciting upgrades that could take your smartphone photography to the next level. First up, there's talk of a significant boost to the ultra-wide lens. The S24 Ultra rocks a 12-megapixel ultra-wide, but rumor has it the S25 Ultra might jump to a whopping 50-megapixel sensor. That's a massive upgrade that could mean sharper, more detailed wide-angle shots. Imagine capturing those sweeping landscapes or group photos with even more clarity. It's enough to make any photography enthusiast drool. But the upgrades don't stop there. There's also chatter about improvements to the telephoto lenses. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Some sources are suggesting we might see variable capabilities in the telephoto setup. What does that mean? Well, it could involve the ability to smoothly transition between different zoom levels, perhaps with fixed focal lengths between 4 to 5 times and 6 to 7 times zoom. This could be a game changer for video recording, allowing for buttery smooth zooms that look almost cinematic. However, there's also a bit of controversy brewing. Some rumors suggest Samsung might be testing a prototype that ditches one of the telephoto lens, potentially leaving the S25 Ultra with just 3 rear cameras instead of 4. Before you panic, though, remember that it's still early days, and even if this turns out to be true, Samsung might have some tricks up its sleeve to compensate. For instance, they could implement a 3 times crop zoom feature from the main lens to make up for the lost telephoto. Speaking of the main camera, we're not hearing much about changes to that 200 megapixel beast from the S24 Ultra. But honestly, do we even need an upgrade there? That sensor is already capable of capturing stunningly detailed photos. What we might see instead are software improvements that help you get even more out of that high-resolution sensor. Alright, tech heads, it's time to talk about what's going on under the hood of the S25 Ultra. Brace yourselves, because this is where things get really exciting. The heart of any smartphone is its processor, and the S25 Ultra is rumored to be packing some serious heat. We're expecting to see the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 chipset in the S25 Ultra, and early benchmarks are looking absolutely insane. We're talking about performance that could potentially match or even exceed some of the latest iPhones. Now, we always take leaked benchmarks with a grain of salt, but if these numbers are even close to accurate, we're in for a treat. One of the most exciting rumors is about the chipset's prime core, which might clock in at a blazing 4.3 GHz. That's a massive jump from the 3.4 GHz in the current model. To put that in perspective, we're talking about processing power that rivals some desktop computers. It's mind-blowing to think about having that kind of horsepower in your pocket. But raw power is only part of the story. We're also hearing that the S25 Ultra might come with a bump in RAM, possibly up to 16 gigabytes. That's more memory than many laptops. Combine that with rumors of faster UFS 4.1 storage speeds, and you've got a device that's not just powerful, but incredibly responsive and efficient. All this power isn't just for bragging rights, though. It opens up a world of possibilities for what your phone can do. We're talking about seamless multitasking, lightning-fast app launches, and the ability to handle complex tasks like video editing or 3D gaming without breaking a sweat. Let's not forget about AI. With this kind of hardware, the S25 Ultra could take on device AI processing to a whole new level. Now, all this power and those fancy features are great, but they don't mean much if your phone dies halfway through the day. That's why we're particularly interested in what Samsung's planning for the S25 Ultra's battery life. The good news is that Samsung's been killing it in the battery department lately. The S24 Ultra already boasts impressive endurance, with its 5,000 mAh battery easily lasting through a full day of heavy use. Early rumors suggest that the S25 Ultra might stick with the same 5,000 mAh capacity, which might seem disappointing at first glance. But here's where it gets interesting. Even with the same capacity, we might see improved battery life thanks to more efficient components. That super powerful Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 chip we mentioned earlier, it's not just about raw performance. These new chips are also designed to be more power efficient, which means they can do more while using less juice. Combine that with potential optimizations in the display technology and software, and we could be looking at a phone that lasts even longer on a single charge. But what about when it's time to recharge? Well, the current rumors suggest that the S25 Ultra might stick with the same 45-watt fast charging capability as its predecessor. While that might not sound revolutionary, it's still plenty fast for most users. We're talking about getting a significant charge in just a matter of minutes. One area where we're hoping to see some innovation is in wireless charging. Samsung's been a leader in this space for years, and we'd love to see them push the boundaries even further with the S25 Ultra. Alright, we've talked about the hardware, but let's not forget that a smartphone is only as good as the software that powers it. And when it comes to software, Samsung's been on a roll lately with their One UI interface and Galaxy AI features. The S25 Ultra is expected to launch with Android 15 out of the box, wrapped in Samsung's latest One UI 7. This means you'll get all the latest features from Google, plus Samsung's own enhancements that make using a Galaxy phone such a unique experience. And here's some great news. Samsung's committed to providing 7 years of software updates for their flagship phones. That means your S25 Ultra will stay fresh and secure well into the 2030s. Well, what do you think? Are you as excited about the S25 Ultra as we are? What features are you most looking forward to? And what would you like to see that we haven't mentioned? The world of technology is always evolving, and it's thrilling to be along for the ride.